Hey YouTube, welcome back to the Mototopia channel. This episode is day 6, part 1 of the Edelweiss Alps Tour. We are going to ride through the Val di Sole, or the Valley of the Sun, and head up into the mountains of the Passo Campo Carlo Magno, which I think is Italian for Pass of Charlemagne. We're going to go through some great ski villages, and then we enter the Dolomite Mountain range of northern Italy. This mountain range is a spectacular, majestic, awe-inspiring mountain range. The roads are fantastic. The villages are really something neat to see, and we're going to end up ending our morning at Lake Molveno for a swim.
You like what you see? Let's get involved.
So please stay tuned. I hope you enjoy the episode. And please remember to like the video if you do, and subscribe to the channel. And remember to ring the little notification bell. Thanks very much. Enjoy the episode. Okay, so we'll start this episode with a very short flyover of the area that we'll be riding in. After leaving the Valley of the Sun, we head up the mountain through the Adamello Brenda National Park, past all the beautiful ski resorts and the Passo Campo Carlo Magno. We enter the Val Rendella and the Dolomite Mountain region, and then take a swim in Lake Molveno, and then end our morning in Molveno. My wife was very interested in the hotels that we stayed in, and I think that's reasonable given the amount of money you spend for a vacation like this. You really do expect to have nice hotels, and we did. This hotel was no exception. The Hotel Montage was excellent. It had a great pool, a great sauna. The hotel rooms themselves were nice. There was a lot of natural wood of some kind, like some kind of high-end knotty pine, if that even exists. But it was a real nice facility, and they promote motorcycle riding. They have a lot of packages for motorcyclists, so I would definitely recommend them if you're going to be in the area. Speaking of the area, we are in the beautiful Val di Sole, or the Valley of the Sun, in northern Italy. It's an area sandwiched between the Stelvio National Park and the Dolomite Mountain range. There are all kinds of things to do here that are heavily promoted by the local governments. Things like mountain biking, but it's not just, hey, ride on our streets. They actually make and maintain trails, even advanced trails with wooden ramps and jumps and things like that. They have adventure parks with zip lines and horseback riding, paragliding, something called Tarzaning, whatever that is. They have whitewater rafting, all kinds of activities. Just really a great place to vacation, especially if your idea of vacation involves activity, recreating, as opposed to sitting on the beach. As we leave the town of Demaro, I noticed this interesting looking building right here on the right side of the road. It had interesting architecture. I noticed the water, and I thought, what the hell is that? So I looked it up. It turns out the Segheria Veneziana is Italian for Venetian Sawmill. That particular sawmill was in operation from the early 1800s until 1960. And it kind of fell into a state of disrepair, and the local town decided that they would get it restored. And so in recent years, it was restored both in the formal structure, the wooden structure, and then the operational functions of the wood and iron mechanisms inside. Venetian sawmills were an important technology of the time. They used the fast-running streams of the Alps to power the mill's wheel, which produced the simultaneous movement of the saw and the mobile trolley on which the log to be cut was placed. This complicated mechanism was made entirely of wood. The engineering was remarkable. It transformed the circular motion of the wheel into two rectilinear and synchronous motions. When the blade came down and cut the wood, the trolley stopped. When the blade went up, the trolley edged forward. The flow of water could be diverted, turning the machine on and off. This evolution in wood cutting moved people from cutting and trimming wood with axes to a much faster and far less wasteful process. This gentle climb has brought us to the Passo Campo Carlo Magno. That's a mouthful, but Carlo Magno is Italian for Charlemagne. And as the story goes, the pass was named after Charlemagne because he crossed this pass on his way to Rome in 800 AD for his coronation as Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. Pretty cool. So we are now approaching the Madonna di Campiglio ski resort. This resort is considered the #1 ski resort in Italy. It boasts 57 lifts and 150 kilometers of ski runs with a capacity of 31,000 people an hour. There's a 50,000 square meter snow park and 40 kilometers of cross-country ski trails that link up to the Pinzolo, Folgorita, which is where we just came from, and Maraliva resorts. It has a storied history that dates back to the 12th century. In 1865, the first hotel was built after the owner built a road at his own personal expense to connect the two valleys on either side, the Val di Sole and the Val Rendagna. The Emperor of Austria spent a great deal of time here too, and today it's known for its quote-unquote high life. We took a number of photographs at the Scenic Overlook, not many of which were good, but these two were. Thanks to Barry for taking them. As we continue south on SS 239 into Pelugo, Italy, we pass this Catholic church that dates back to the 15th century. San Antonio Abate Church would be a fairly unremarkable church if not for the fascinating group of frescoes on the church's facade. The fresco of St. Anthony was painted by Cristoforo Bascenis in 1474. His family was actually a family of traveling painters from Bergamo, Italy. Apparently, frescoes such as these were painted in this simple style to educate through images and lead the common people to a life free of sin. Poor and free of sin in the 15th century could not have been much fun. For most of the latter part of our morning, the roads looked a lot like this. Just kind of sweeping turns, country roads through one little village to the next village. Pretty easy riding, but also very scenic riding. Very enjoyable, and really not much to white knuckle your handlebars over. As the morning wore on, the roads got a lot better as we got higher, and we were kind of tooling along these little twisties, and I think I was following Kevin, and we got behind a car, a very slow car, and everybody got around him but me. Somehow I managed to get stuck, waiting for a safe place to pass. But as in typical European fashion, they were pretty polite. They noticed some motorcycles behind them, and at the first reasonable opportunity, they pulled over and let us go by, which was great because it created a gap between me and the rider in front of me. So I got to get on a little bit and give it some throttle, which is always fun on roads like this. So we're now entering an area called Alto Banali. There are two towns here called San Lorenzo in Banali and Dorsino, and they are often considered two of the most beautiful towns in Italy. They're very historic looking, ancient, medieval type villages, and they specialize in a special culinary treat called chewigga. It's a pork sausage made with turnips, and all of the restaurants here serve it in various forms or another, and every fall there is a festival celebrating this delicacy. So there's a hiking trail that circumnavigates these two towns, this area, and it's called the Sentiero della Chewigga. So if you're in this area, stop here and check them out. These towns are beautiful, and so are the surrounding Dolomite Mountains. So it looks like we got stuck behind a couple of classic cars. I'm not sure what these are, but they remind me of a car from my youth. A much storied car that flew and floated. Perhaps some of you remember Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So as we exit the San Lorenzo Tunnel, we are greeted with the beautiful Dolomite Mountain Range. The Dolomites are part of what are called the Southern Limestone Alps. The limestone, I assume, is what gives the Dolomites their unusual shape and prominent character. It also makes them ideal for base jumping. The highest peak in the Dolomites is the Marmolada at 3,342 meters, which is almost 11,000 feet. In addition to 12 gorgeous ski resorts, the Dolomites features numerous lakes, including Lake Molveno, which we are fast approaching. And a lake sounds pretty appealing right now, given the heat wave Europe experienced during our trip has today's temperatures in excess of 40 degrees C, which is quite a bit over 100 degrees F. So we just left our bikes parked along the side of this road and walked down this path down a hill to the shore of the lake. Took a lot of pictures. We thought that's really all it would be, is a really nice photo opportunity. But the lake is beautiful. I mean, the water's blue, and of course the mountains are just a spectacular backdrop. So great opportunity to get the cameras out. So these are my two best friends in the whole world. This is Barry and Kevin. They're like brothers to me. And this is me and Kevin again. Well, as you can see, the water is crystal clear. It's got a nice blue color to it. It was pretty cold, but we decided to take a little swim. And it was cold.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because the weather was so hot that day, the water really did feel refreshing and invigorating. But we didn't have any time for chicken fights or Marco Polo. So we got dressed and hiked back up through the woods to the road and the bikes, and took off again down the road toward Molveno. So that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you'll join us for part 2 of day 6, when we see more of Molveno and the majestic Dolomite Mountains, and experience, again, more fantastic riding. So thanks very much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I would really appreciate that. And as always, remember, be in love with your life, every minute of it.